interrupting? Oh, so you always would now you just let me hang it out. Interrupting, turning up late, eating the last chocolate biscuit. There are many reasons why you may need to say sorry, but perfecting the art of apologising is a skill few of us have mastered.
In fact, just this week we saw Roseanne Barr make probably one of the worst apologies of all time.
There were jump cuts, multiple outfits, different...
I'm trying to talk about Iran. I'm trying to talk about Valerie Jarrett wrote the Iran deal.
I know, but you've told me this 300 times. Do you know that
That's what my tweet was about.
I know, you've explained this literally 300 times.
I thought the was white. God damn it! I thought the was white.
Yeah, I'm not sure she's actually sorry or not. Today we're walking you through the do's and don'ts of saying sorry. Here to tell us how is author Georgia Murch. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, Georgia.
Hey, guys.
Why do we find apologising so hard?
Yeah, well, there's a really good example of doing it badly. But we actually have an unhealthy relationship to being wrong. So for some reason it feels like a real blow to the ego, and that tends to be the problem, and not apologising is the symptom. I think one of the things that we're more expert at is actually being offended. So, and then when we're offended, it's got a really big family and blame and resentment and mistrust, and everything moves in. And then we fall into what I call the blame trap. And once we blame somebody else or another situation for something, we don't need to take responsibility anymore.
Because you can be wrongly offended as well. Something can be said that's not doesn't mean to offend you, but you can take it as offence, and all of a sudden you're off track, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what makes the perfect apology then, all things considered?
The perfect one. So always starting with authenticity. So any apology that's coated with sincerity goes a really long way. So that's one. One of the other things that I often talk to people too about is avoiding the phrase, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Anyone been on the receiving
That's right.
end
It's
of
the
that
same
one?
as if I offended you,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're better off just not
Or
apologising.
don't take this the wrong way,
Yeah.
but we always know what's coming after that.
Yeah.
But the thing about that when it comes to apologies is that in a way it's actually passive-aggressive. It's like saying actually you're the problem in terms of how you received the information, and I don't need to own anything or take responsibility there.
But what if you didn't mean to offend?
But the fact the fact that you did offend is what's the important thing.
Yes, but if I didn't set out to, say if you and I are having a conversation, I didn't set out to offend you, but you take offence to something I've said. Now I have to apologise to you, but I didn't set out to offend you.
But the fact that you did offend me should be enough for you to be sorry about that.
Well, I find that highly offensive.
You guys don't need me here. You can do this. You've got
the
this
fact
covered.
that you upset that person should be what you apologise. It's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I'm sorry.
There's a difference between saying, I'm sorry you're upset versus I'm sorry I upset you.
Yeah, there's such an art to it, isn't it?
Yeah, and small things make a really big difference.
Yeah, okay. If someone apologises to you and you don't believe they mean it, can you ask for a take two? Can you ask for a redo on that?
Yeah, right. So I say that in conversations there's typically two things. So we hear your content, but we smell your intent. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, I like it too because I made it up. But the whole point of that is that it's not the words that actually are the things that we take to heart. It's the sincerity of the words.
Right.
And so the thing that, and you can't kind of coat an apology up and wrap it in a bow if it's insincere because it feels wrong and it smells wrong. So, but straight out asking for one kind of isn't a winner line either. I think when you have those circumstances, firstly, if someone's given you an apology, say thank you because that's the right thing to do is respond with manners. Secondly, get curious and ask them where they're coming from and, what was behind it. And the other thing that's really useful if you can come with good intent is to literally let them know where you're at and say, hey, I really want to know, is this coming from a genuine place? But when you ask that, you've also got to be prepared to hear their answer.
Yeah. What about text, email versus in person?
Yeah. I think any apology that's sincere is a good apology. So I'm a big rap for that. But we live in a tech-driven world and that's not going to change. And so there's a time and a place for how we apologise. So a text or an email around, sorry, running 10 minutes late, or Really sorry I didn't check the email before I sent it to you. All good. But a text to say, hey, sorry I had an affair, not such a win
We're probably not going to cut
thing.
it.
Yeah.
A lot of us are guilty of apologising when we've done nothing wrong because we think that's the mechanism to smooth things over and start to build bridges and build rapport again. Is it time we stop saying sorry for insignificant things and only hand it out when it's needed?
Yeah, I call them serial apologisers.
Yeah.
And these are people that feel bad a lot of the time. I should have done this, I should have done that, and they should all over themselves. And so they're coming from... Thanks, love. And so they're coming from a good place, which is great. But the problem is that they're apologising for other people's stuff. It's like going to the airport and picking up all the luggage on the conveyor belt, everybody else's. So it's heavy, it's exhausting, and to an extent you're taking away everybody else's responsibility. And again, they don't need to own it. So it's a no-win situation.
Yeah. But Georgia, saying sorry when you've actually upset someone feels good. If you upset someone, you apologise.
Yeah.
Don't you think it feels good?
It's a massive super glue
Yeah,
for relationships. So it brings them back together or it grows them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Georgia.
Thanks for having me.
Got to stop shooting on myself.